All right, so if it's one thing that I've learned over the last 4 or 5 years of entrepreneurship is that if you want to go far, if you want to scale, you have to be able to develop your leadership skills in order to be able to build a team, right? Because once you start getting to the point where your daily operational tasks are starting to get you mentally fatigued, physically tired, you start dreading the work that you used to once love. Work almost becomes or starts feeling a little bit unfulfilled, right? And you also have to have the self-awareness to know that at one point in your journey, you're going to probably reach capacity, meaning that you've accomplished all that you can with the skill sets that you currently have, which now leaves you to a couple of options that you have to choose from. You can either bring on people that have the expertise that you do not have, nor have the time to learn. You can take time out of your day to shadow someone that has that expertise so you can now have it. And you just really have to be decisive once you get to that place of reaching capacity, because that's where I've gotten. You get what I'm saying? And you got to get to a place where you realize, like, and humbly say, like, yo, I need help. I can't do all of this by myself, right? Nor do I want to continue doing this by yourself, because if I keep on going on this path that I'm on, I'm going to fall out of love with the thing that I fell in love with, right? And I want to think as I want to create a atmosphere of life, or I want to create a lifestyle where, I don't have to worry about taking a break or thinking about retiring from, you know what I'm saying? And obviously everyone wants to be financially free, financially set, and all that good stuff. But the reality is that you want to get to a place where work no longer feels like work, but it ends up becoming fulfillment for you. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I'm looking for. And I'm really glad that I came across Nick, because Nick, he runs a super big team. He has a lot on his plate. He's a high performer, high producer. And the opportunity to collaborate is not only advantageous, from the financial part. That's like not even my biggest takeaway. But just from a leadership perspective, just seeing how he's able to operate such a massive team and consistently show up for not only his clients, but for his team at a high level, that's what I want to adopt. You know what I'm saying? And for those of you guys who are getting familiar with me on this channel, my background has been in real estate. So I've been in real estate for 5 years. I started off as a realtor. Then I transitioned to being able to wholesale land to residential home builders. And by adopting that niche in wholesaling land that I learned from a friend named Derby, I got really tech savvy with systems and automations and just processes. And I just became overly obsessed with that. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, I started partnering up with, helping a coaching program that Derby ran. And she taught the wholesaling land stuff, and I taught all of the sales, the systems, and the automation side of things, right? And my biggest takeaway that I learned from that is, like, man, once you get to a level of where you're serving a lot of people consistently, you got to be able to learn how to fill in those gaps and not be able to stretch yourself thin. You know what I'm saying? And from a business and an operation standpoint, we are going to ask Nick some very cool questions about his journey, his experience, and he's a super cool guy. So I look forward to you guys meeting him. And yeah, this vlog is going to be value packed. So stay tuned. What was that transition like when you first started with a small team and then business started to pick up? How did you adjust to add more people to your team while you were experiencing that growth?
It was actually pretty easy. So I was the only employee for 6 months, for 3 months. So I was doing
When
all the
you
calls.
when you first started?
When I first started, I was pulling all the lists. I was doing all the calls. I was skip tracing everything myself.
What?
I was sending all the invoices. I was setting up and bro. I literally have so much. I'm getting goosebumps telling you this story, but I have so much respect for who I was during that time period. Does that make sense? It's
Yeah.
like the fact that I remember one day I was so busy. I just got off a cold call because I'm cold calling and I'm sending invoices. I was just all over the place and I freak out. I throw my fucking headset. I just start crying and I'm like, I gotta hire somebody. Like it's the best problem to cry over in the world. Too many customers.
Right.
But it's like I gotta hire. So true story. That day, I made a post on Facebook, and I was like, I'm hiring work from home people, cold callers. $15 an hour. I think I started everybody at back then, and then like 8 people applied. I hired all of the 8 people, all of them.
All of them.
All of them.
Sheesh.
And I still have this training video. I think it's on my YouTube. Then I have a training at 7 in the morning because I'm living in Phoenix and there's people in over here. So we start training. I wake up at 7. I got a successful entrepreneur. You'd be surprised the people that come out of the woodwork for $15 an hour work from home. One's a successful entrepreneur. One's a former engineer. Like all kinds of crazy fucking people showed up. One of them's a realtor. Okay, so these are my cold callers because the first thing I was like, I gotta have cold callers.
Yeah.
Right? So then I train all the cold callers in a 2.5 hour video that I'm telling you, it's on YouTube. You can look at it.
Sheesh.
And I remember even one of my employees reached out to me from way back then and he goes, you remember me? I was like, of course I remember you. And he goes, I remember you had that piece of shit fucking apartment. He's like, I remember how broke you used to be. He's like, your life changed, didn't it? Yeah. It was cool to see that, right? But so he ends up, it was 4 people ended up sticking. They all became cold callers. They were with me for like 3 to 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, and some of them stayed with me for years. Yeah, it was really cool. So that was like phase 1. I got to get off cold calling. Phase 2 was I need a VA. So while I was working for Clever Investor, because let me tell you, bro, like, I have a spreadsheet called the American Work Tracker. I don't think I'm connected anymore. But I have a spreadsheet called the American Work Tracker, and I invented this spreadsheet. I'll pull it up for you. But every day we dial, I have someone still to this day. I used to be the one. Go in overnight and take all the data out of call tools and put it into the spreadsheet I created. And the spreadsheet runs the companies. It tells you how many dials we have left. It tells you what to set the call tools to. It tells you everything. So I don't want to say that's a bottleneck right now because we've been doing it for 7 years overnight. But for 7 years overnight, I've been having an employee log in and transfer phone numbers every night for hundreds of clients.
Sheesh.
And that's this right here. That's the American Work Tracker. So every night, for every client, yeah, look at this. Look at this spreadsheet. Look how big it is.
What the fuck?
Okay, so this is actually one of the small ones, but I'll get us caught up to today.
And this is every day.
Every day. Look at it, every day. Look at all these clients. Look at all these numbers. Okay, crazy, right? And then down here, I track contact rate, I track lead conversion rate, I track everything on top of it. And over here, I track their purchase amount. I track how many dials we owe them left. Like it's crazy. So at the end, so on top of everything I just named to you, at the end of every day, I was going in here and I was entering this data every night. So then
Crazy.
Before that, I'm working at Clever and they wanted me to find a VA. And so I found this VA, Highwell. And I was like, hey, I got this guy, he'll do this stuff for me. And they're like, no, we don't want to hire him. We don't want to do a VA anymore or something, whatever. They killed the project. And I was like, okay, so when I founded Lead Mining and I was in the weeds, I was like, Highwell, you still need work? Swear to God. So, and he's been with me for 7 years ever since then.
Wow.
So I actually found him 8 years ago. I didn't hire him for the first year.
Yeah.
Then I hired him. And then he started. So then the cool thing is we all just leveled up.
Yeah.
So like, remember, I did everything. Then I hired cold callers. Now I'm not cold calling. Now I'm just doing invoicing and the data. And then I hire Highwell for the data and the invoicing. Okay. And then the list pulling and the skip tracing. So I gave Highwell those three things, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, now I'm just doing. So it's really, it wasn't methodical.
Right.
But it was just perfect.
Over the course of time.
But I think, because I ran restaurants forever, like, I know if I got fry, you got grill, and if you got grill, I got salads. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm no dummy to progression.
Putting teams together.
Well, and that being said, even the word progression. So I played a lot of World of Warcraft growing up.
Okay.
And what a lot of people don't know about online video games is two things. One, you have to work in a group. We did raids, like 25-person raids that I was actually would lead some of them. I mean, I'm like 20, but I'm like 15, but I still would.
Yeah.
I lead 20 other 20-year-olds into battle.
Right.
You know, that's one. And two was, WoW is about progression. You can't go in to a super high level if you're not there. You literally got to climb through the lower levels, and you got to. And so I think progression was something that World of Warcraft taught me how to progress. Like, it's not like, I'm the best. No, bitch. Right. You got to get the best shoes and wear the best pants and do have the best training, and you know what I mean.
Right.
You're not just the best. So that taught me, I think, a little bit more how to like wean people onto shit, because I knew that they wouldn't just be the best. So yeah, it totally grew organically, and then Highwell got his wife is Fenny. She's the one who works overnight now. Okay. She's the one that transfers all the data. So like, it really just became organic for all of us. Right. And then the cold caller that stuck with me the longest became my cold calling manager back then, right? Mm-hmm. And the cool thing is I did everything myself first. So when it came time for duplication, I know what to do. Like, it wasn't like...
And you know what to expect, too.
Right, that's right. It's like I wasn't like confused on like, oh, well, I don't know, you figure it out. No, I already figured it out. Bitch, you do what I used to do. Right. You know what I mean? Right. That's it. And then I would just double check them. Keep doing what I'm doing. Keep doing... And I'm like, why'd you stop? Why'd you stop? Why'd you stop? So there's a bunch of stuff like that. And today, we're still doing the same thing. Even you and Crystal being here is the same thing happening, right? In the sense, like, I feel like I've been the only one calling and texting even the last 6 months, but I'm not. But it's like, I'm so in the... Yeah. But now you guys are here, and it's like, I keep hiring. The real answer is I kept hiring for what I didn't want to do anymore. Mm. And right now, my brain just can't handle anymore. Like, even now, I actually still want to do it all. But like I said, when my house caught on fire 3 weeks ago, I'm like, this is stressful. Yeah. I can't fucking handle a house fire and this all at the same time. But yeah, so that's kind of how the whole thing happened. And I just kept... And then the thing is, once the position's made, cold callers, I created a training program. They get my free course, and they get 4 hours with Mandy. That's basically how cold calling training works. And then we monitor their results. If they suck, they don't work here. If they don't suck, we let them keep working.
Do you do the firing, or does Mandy do the firing?
It's not really a firing. I don't really think anyone's really... One person's ever been fired. Okay. 2 people have been fired. Okay. One guy, every time he'd get off the phone with the lead, he would get up and make a phone call. I didn't like that. Like, he's like calling...
Someone else?
Right. Oh. Like, he was like calling like an investor friend. No, like I just didn't like... It was weird. He had weird energy. Like, he was trying to steal my customers' leads. So I fired him. Wow. I didn't trust... Whatever was happening, I didn't like it. Okay. You're only getting up after a lead? Yeah. Why not get up before a lead? Right. Right? It's like, who are you calling and talking to? Yeah, I'm real worried. Like, dude, you know, just like no one's going to fuck my customers. Right? Like, your VAs aren't going to steal their leads and resell them either. Right. And he wasn't able to make that make sense to me enough, so I fired him. I did fire him. He was kind of a pain in the ass. And the other guy was a VA a person I caught sleeping. So someone picked up, it's on the call recording, he's my cold caller, and it picks up and snoring. Yo. So those are only 2 people I've ever fired.
And you got quality assurance, I'm assuming, or you do the quality?
Mandy does that.
Ah, okay.
So I have Mandy listen to like 2 calls per caller per week. So everyone's getting just some kind. Selection. That's right. Yeah. Just make sure everyone's good, and then she tracks all their performance and stuff. Gotcha. To make sure that they're good, and that's why I encourage clients. Like, if they get a lead and it says a lead, and they call them and they go, I didn't tell them it was a lead. Now that happens a lot, even when they do tell us the right thing. Yeah. But you may have heard it. I may have said it yesterday. Challenge us.
Yeah.
I want you to email us and say, send me this recording. Because either you're going to hear that they did say that to us or we fucked up. And either way, so I'm big on, yeah, tell me if we fucked up. Not like, oh, I never want to show any weakness. Like, yeah, there's 30 cold calls. We're making hundreds of thousands of dials.
Right,
Someone's going to say the wrong shit.
Right.
Just help me keep an eye on it. So that's like my vibe on quality assurance too. Recordings used to automatically go out with leads, like recently. And that recently stopped, like from automation breaking or something. Okay. But I like that too, because now I got every customer auditing us.
Yeah.
And that makes me comfortable. Like, I like that. Like, a lot of people be scared by that. But I'm like, I like it. Right. Listen to all this.
And it also puts the team at like, yo, I got to stay on my P's and
That's
Q's.
That's right. Yeah. Bitch, you're being watched.
Right.
Right. That's right. So that was cool. So I want to bring, that's going to be the first thing with the new developers. I want to bring that back. But yeah, so that's kind of how the growth thing happened.
All right, guys. So we had a very eventful day. Hopefully you guys got some value from the conversation that me and Nick was having about, scaling, team building, and his beginning and starting Lead Mining Pros. We're going to wrap it up for this vlog. So again, share in the comments some of your biggest takeaways. I know a lot of my biggest takeaways is pretty much again, developing leadership skills, man, because that's definitely essential when you're starting a company, and also understanding being motivated. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, tons of value that was given today. Hopefully we can come back and run this back very shortly. And if you are in real estate and you want to delegate your lead generation, click the link in the description. Head over to Lead Mining Pros. Get you some cold calls, get you some texting, because it's getting rough out here, right? Marketing and lead generation is probably one of the most essential, if not the most important thing when it comes to business, because lead flow is important, So it's just dope to see and also hear the backstory of how lead mining got started. And yeah, we'll go ahead and keep giving you guys some more good content, dope content, following along on this journey. And we'll see you guys on the next video.